Good morning, it's Joshua Taylor coming to you this 17th or 18th of July. It's Saturday anyway. I had a good rest last night. So this is video 238. I just watched that, I think it was a 23-minute video by that woman doctor. She's talking about this push, why they're trying to push this vaccine on the population. And if you take into account all the different warnings, prophecies, and dreams, we're going to have to shelter in place for September, October, and November. So it gives us, we're going to have to prepare for a full lockdown. That means being locked into your homes and military lockdown, Russian and Chinese troops out in the streets to curb the lawlessness. We need to use this time to pray, to intercede, that the Lord will have mercy and raise up a righteous standard, right? And this is the only hope that we have right now. So that's my plans. I need to double my prayer time, and once I get over this trailer ready for winter, then I'll be pressing in. It's going to be full time for pressing in for intercession to help stand in the gap, right? It looks like we're going to have to shelter in place. That means having food, water, provisions. To have food tucked away, I'm going to bring later today. I'll take this video camera outside and I'll show you how to make these food containers out of 4-inch plastic that you can seal them up and you can bury them. And this is going to be very important, because you never know when people is going to come knocking at your door demanding what food that you have, right? So it's wise to be able to take your food, fill up these containers. It's mainly designed for dry goods, seal it up, and bury it and hide it on your property. And so this time that we're coming into, that's you don't want to take these vaccines under no conditions. And we know that this fall that we're coming into is going to be the time of the great falling away. There's going to be many that are going to compromise, take the vaccine, and that's it. They're already compromised. They're already compromised, right? And so you just become a computer program in the matrix, and you'll be controlled. So you'll no longer be able to worship the Lord. It's going to take away your God sense. And but we know that sometime later this year, this fall, that this asteroid is going to impact Puerto Rico. This is the time that the 3 days of darkness comes forth, and also the time of the unleashing or unveiling of the sons of God, of this army that God's been preparing. And so we need to make it to that point. At that point, the Lord will unleash His power and authority in the earth, in the 144,000, and they'll be instructed and begin to go forth to walk in their divine destiny for the purposes that the Father has, to carry out the Father's will, to build these kingdom camps. And we know that, according to what Chuck Youngbrandt was showing many years ago, that a full nuclear strike against the United States will happen only after America is weakened. And he was clearly shown that this is going to take place 30 days after the New Madrid earthquake takes place. The New Madrid earthquake, he saw it take place in the month of July, the early part of July. Then 30 days later, God sends His angels into the cities to take people out of the American cities, because they're this is when Russia and China is going to launch a full-scale nuclear strike, followed by invasion and 7-year occupation of America. You know, Canada. Whatever happens in the States happens to Canada. So Canada will also come under military lockdown for a 7-year period. And before this time, we're going to see millions and millions of people here in North America. Hey, you guys! These dogs. Okay, enough. Anyway, so I just want to get this short update. I'm doing what I can here. I've just been very busy. It's my Sabbath today, and just hoping to use the time to get a few videos out. So we know that God has a plan to bring forth the manifestation of the sons of God. The church is not going nowhere, and even as we speak right now, we might be right before a Psalms 83 war, right? Johnny, I can't talk to you right now. I'm just gonna press the decline, and so we have to get to that point and be ready for the Lord to appear in a people where the unveiling of the sons of God take place. And after this point, as God releases His remnant into the earth, that they will begin to build places of refuge, these kingdom camps, to preserve God's righteous, right? To preserve His bride. That we're going to have to flee the cities. We can't stay in the cities. The evidence is already, the rating is already on the walls. So lots of things coming down. We're looking at a new money coming in this year. Cash should be phased out. And but I know as the Lord brings us out of the cities, that these remnant camps, they won't be operating by money. They'll be operating in faith. People living in these places will be living by faith, and God will establish like a barter trade system, right, where we can operate without cash. There, every community would specialize. Maybe one would be raising goats, another sheep, another growing wheat, another having the ability to produce fuel and technologies, Joe pipe technologies, whatever. And this is where we're going, because we cannot stay in the cities much longer. If we don't get out, then we're going to pay the price, and we're going to have to become part of this matrix to exist in the system. So the Psalms 83 war is in the making. 5 of us seen this back in about this time in 1986, where we saw the Middle East war break out. 3 missiles of mass destruction were launched against Israel. 2 got taken down. Didn't know about the Iron Dome at that time. And 1 missile was headed toward Tel Aviv. And then we saw the Manisin, this peacemaker, rise up on the scene, which is going to be the false Messiah, right? He's going to bring in this peace treaty in the Middle East. And we could be right before that time right now. As we come in, So we need to be ready in our hearts spiritually. And the church is not going to go anywhere. To compound all the situation, the signs that the Lord has shown me in the 1980 visions that have to do with the total destruction of the West Coast, they're maturing very quickly, and it's a possibility that next April may be the end of the West Coast. I'm not saying that's going to be, but these signs are quickly maturing, And in the visions I saw fear on the faces of the people, and you could cut it with a knife. Right now it's about a 3. I saw it as about a 7. So each point that you go up, that the fear is magnified 10 times, right? So we're just at the starting point where fear is beginning to grip the hearts of the people, but it's going to increase dramatically, exponentially in the times that we're moving into. So there is hope. We need to do what we can to pull our finances out of the bank, and it's up to you whether you want to pay off your MasterCards and credit cards. You have to take that before the Lord. But in these food videos where I'm going to show you how to preserve food and hide it, at least it's best to pull out cash, and then when you go to shop to pay for your dry goods and your supplies using cash, just less tracking, and don't use any don't use any plastic, right? Save on points cards or whatever, just use cash. That way won't be able to track what you buy. And start making these food containers and getting them out. And this may be one of the things that's going to get you by during this 90-day crisis that David Terrell, God's prophet to the world, saw so many years ago coming upon America. The time is coming where he also saw the flags fly at half-staff in America, right, for whatever reason. That time is coming up. In visions that people have saw, they've seen Washington D.C. destroyed this year, later on this year. It's a possibility. Looks like the signs are evident that we are in the first year of what the Lord showed Chuck Youngbrat on his 3-year timeline, leading to 7-year occupation. And by the way, David Terrell, God's prophet to the world, he saw Jesus coming back in the early part of the 3rd decade, 2034, 2035. And I also heard him speak that America would receive double judgment, not just 7 years, but 14 years of judgment. And we know that Terry Bennett was given a 21-year timeline, and that we're moving into the 3rd set of 7s in 2021. That's going to usher in this one world government, right? So that means this Psalms 83 war has to happen. Jerusalem's going to be trampled. God's going to withhold his angels. They're not going to win this next war. And he's going to bring this time a false peace, the 7-year peace treaty. And at the midpoint of that treaty, that's where he's going to reveal his true identity and where the mark of the beast will be enforced. But it's being prepared to be enacted as we speak, right? And once you get this COVID vaccination, you no longer will have your free will, that you will be owned and operated by the Borg. You become one with the Borg. And so once we get through this bump that we're coming into, when the Lord releases, the sons of God are released to the world, that these kingdom camps need to be established in quick time and be operational. And like I'm saying, if Nibiru is revealed this year, we may see the destruction of the West Coast in April of next year, right? And that means there's going to have to be a shake-up. That 9.2 earthquake in the West Coast is going to have to happen as a wake-up event for people, that a exodus can be put together. What the Lord showed me in the 1988 visions, where a convoy stretching 50 miles long, of over 10,000 vehicles and 250 transport vehicles left the outskirts of Surrey, heading up toward the Hazelton area, as directed by the angel of the Lord. And in that vision, Gabriel appeared to me twice in that vision. And so a time will come on the west coast of Vancouver, Seattle, where you will not have time to sell your home, only enough time to flee. And in those visions, the Lord also allowed me to see the death of 3 million people that perished in Canada. They were not ready. Just a remnant got out. Lots of stuff happening. But it's going to take a supernatural empowering of the remnant to be able to do what we need to be done. Needs to be done. Walking in heavenly places and knowing the will of the Father and carrying out His instructions. So there is hope. But we do need to pray and intercede like we never have before, to humble ourselves so God can raise up a righteous standard in the earth as a defense against this wave of the Antichrist spirit sweeping the world. Going to leave it here. This is Joshua Taylor coming to you from my little place in the Boston Bar with this quick update. There is hope on the horizon, but we must pray and intercede like we've never had in our life.